Hey guys, welcome back to IT Garage. Today we are going to replace this voltage regulator over here with this nice new shiny one, and hopefully that fixes the charging issue on this car. Right now it's overcharging, so I really think it's the voltage regulator. It is original to the car, so let's go ahead and get started. And of course guys, before you start this, make sure your battery's disconnected. Ours is, so we're good to go. I just double checked as I said that. What I think we're going to do first is actually clean this up. I hate working on dirty stuff, and this car is just filthy from being outside. So we're going to go ahead and just wipe this down just a little bit, just for the areas that we'll be touching and leaning against. And then we're going to go ahead and get this nice, new, shiny, bright blue voltage regulator thrown on down here. Just going to make the same connections, and then I'll go ahead and talk you guys through what I have over here. Let's go ahead and just grab just a cloth or a towel or whatever, and just start wiping this down, getting this nice and clean. So try to keep the allergies under control here. Interior cleaner, that's meant for inside the engine bay, right? Get actual glass cleaner for that. Probably should have used that in the first place. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but every time I clean this car, I seem to get a lot more work done on it when it's clean rather than when it's dirty. I don't know what the psychology is behind that. Maybe cleaning it up will give me a little bit more motivation to get this thing done. I'd really like to be out on the road this summer with this, so hopefully we can make that happen. And hopefully you guys can follow along and see. So you guys are balanced in the most precarious way, so there's a good chance you'll probably fall. We're going to replace this voltage regulator down here. We're going to disconnect this wire, these old school grounds. Yeah, it's a ground. Just get it out of the way. Each groups of wire, because there's three, right? This says there's arm, field, and battery. Looking at this real quick, it looks like it's the same way, because I know this big black wire here runs over to the battery on this side. So we're going to go ahead and assume they're right and install it. It's supposed to be right. It's supposed to be for this car. The first thing we're going to do is switch over just each terminal individually. So it'll be kind of funny. This didn't come with anything else. It came with this. It'll be a little comical seeing the rusty screws on here. With a little bit of PB Blast just to help get these off. It's been sitting outside for a while. So let that sit for a minute while I grab a screwdriver and everything else that I think we'll need. All right. Oh, you're going to play nice. That would be awesome. My luck, that'll just be the first one. The rest of them will all need heat and all sorts of nonsense to get off. And of course, guys, before you start this, make sure your battery's disconnected. Ours is, so we're good to go. I just double checked as I said that. I lied. This is way too tight in there to be messing. So we're just going to have to totally uninstall it and then totally reinstall it. And hopefully these wires, because they've been here so long with age, they just kind of hang out and we know where they go. And if not, I have you guys up there videoing. So let's look on the top. We have a black wire and a double yellow wire. And I'm fairly certain this double yellow wire is the one that feeds the rest of the car. This black wire, I believe, feeds the battery. This middle wire is the field wire, which runs into the wiring harness. I believe that either goes to the back of the alternator or somewhere on the other side of the car, as does the bottom big yellow wire and this little yellow wire with the black stripe in it. Do I know what they do? Obviously not. But we'll see if that stops us. Worst case scenario is I finally get frustrated with this because I've been working at it on and off for a little bit now, and you'll see my diagrams here in a minute. I've been trying to keep it not original per se, but what I think is the least amount of work as possible, if that makes sense. We have this here if we can make it work. Alternator on the engine's good. I know that because the guy that I bought the engine from was running it, and I've tested it myself with the engine running. So I don't necessarily want to have to go buy a GM style one wire or figure out the Ford one wire, you know, the 3G alternator, and make it work in a situation. If I can just have what's already here, good. Yeah, see, I think this is just some old style capacitor that's probably inside the new one. I'll try to do a Google search and see, because I highly doubt that this is good anyways. If it's like anything else on the car, it's bad. It's hot out here today, guys. This is like our first true hot day, I would say. I don't know exactly what the temperature is, but I mean, it's 80. It's every bit of 80 degrees outside right now. Here's the inside. I'll show you because the screw's missing. You know, it doesn't look like there's a lot in here to go bad, but I'm not an electrical scientist, so something in here is probably bad. It'll get cataloged on the floor. Seems to fit just fine. So this wire right here, it definitely came from the ground, not the ground, but it definitely grounded back here. So you need to undo that bolt in the back and put that on. Alright, now we got that ground wire back on. Like I thought, these wires, they didn't move very much, guys. They're kind of fused in position. So up here at the top, you guys can see, we have a yellow wire, a double yellow with the big black wire. And in the middle, we only have the one black wire with the white stripe. And at the bottom, we have the two yellow wires. And it had this on it as well. Still need to research this and see exactly what this is and what it does if we need it. I'll put this little ground back in, even though I'm pretty sure that's just for the headlights. But everything looks to be nice and tight back in there. So now I can show you guys the little diagram that I have, what I think I'm supposed to do, and then we can go ahead and see if that is what I'm supposed to do, if this works. I'm hoping this is it, and I'm hoping the stuff that I've done previously is good, but I guess we'll find out. Here's my diagram. It's very technical and well drawn. It's basically CAD drawing. Here is the wiring for the 59 Edsel. This is all of the engine bay wiring for a V8 59 Edsel. And then here is the body wiring, which I don't really need right now, but I thought I'd just print it out. And then here is the engine wiring. So look, it doesn't look that bad, but I'm still finding a way to mess it up. So right there's your generator regulator. So you have the BFA. So they have that listed as battery, field, and arm is what I think it was. And so you can kind of see the different wires. So it's telling you there's a black and a yellow, a black and white, yellow, black, black and red. Yeah, see, that's that ground. I was right. So it comes off the negative side and goes to the ground over here on the voltage regulator. I'm gonna go ahead and I have it wired up now. Let me put these papers away so they stop blowing around. So right now I have, let me get my brain through this again. This is the regulator over here. We have AFB on the regulator, and F is not used as that goes to a generator, and we're not using a generator, we are using an alternator. And then off the A terminal, so gen light runs all the way over here to terminal 1 on the back of the alternator. So you have terminal 1, and then you have the battery, and then you have the terminal 2. This is the alternator, in case you didn't know from my wonderful drawing. And then there's another big wire that is not used on the alternator, or off the A terminal, which is this right here. It's already taped up. So F isn't used either, which I believe is what this is right here. That should be F. And then on the B side, you have the solenoid. Leave that in place. The made fiend line, that stays there as well. The battery side of the solenoid, then you have the solenoid to the starter. On the battery side of the solenoid, that also comes down to the battery side of the alternator. You have another terminal on the back of the alternator, terminal 2, and that runs to your ignition switch. So that wire is coming out right here. This is the ignition switch wire. It comes out, and I have it going down to, on the back of the alternator is listed as the field wire. So it's the exciter. And then you have this right here, this wire. That should go to the generator light. We're gonna go ahead and start this. I got the key on in the car. It does work, so we'll use that, which is why I believe that this wire appears to work. We're gonna go ahead and start it, and then once it idles after a few seconds, we'll go ahead and see what the reading is at the battery, and if everything's right, it should be, 14 point whatever, and if it's like it was before, it'll be 40 point something. Oh, and the one thing I did do before we start this is I found the wire off the back here that goes off terminal 1. Yes, terminal 1, and that runs over here to the A side of the regulator. And what this is over here is, this is ground, so we'll go ahead and hook up a ground from alternator to ground. We're gonna do it real fancy. Quick release ground in there. Just poked me. All right, let's see what she's got, see if she runs. So it wasn't quite at 14. At the end there, it was sitting at 13.1. So this battery has lived a rough life, being ran and charged, and not living a normal life cycle. But that is way better than what we were seeing before. I didn't get a video, but before, I'm not even joking, it was 41 volts was getting pushed out to the battery. Thanks, O'Reilly, for not asking any questions when I bring in a 4-month-old battery. Appreciate that. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of finish this up. Over here, we're going to go ahead and make that an actual connection as opposed to just tucking the wire in there. Same with the ground. We'll get the ground straightened up. And then we're going to go ahead and run this a little bit nicer so it's not just hanging over the engine bay. Other than that, I think we're good to go. And just for laughs, let's go ahead and see if we can actually crank it from the key on the inside. Theoretically, if I take that alligator clip off and throw this on, and assuming that all the connections are still good and everything inside. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, there's the generator light. Nothing. So, all right, well, just something else to troubleshoot. Ain't no big deal. We'll figure that out. All right, so I sat in here for about 4 seconds, and I was just looking at the dash, admiring it. You know, the Edsel pickle here and all that fun stuff that we just don't get in modern cars. I mean, look at the cool metal dash. I love it. But I realized that the shifter was in low, and apparently what still works on this car is the neutral safety switch. So that's good to know. But all right, well, back to the regular ending here, guys. I'm still very much new and learning to all this stuff. You know, this is my first classic, but it's the first one that I've kind of brought back from the dead. All the other ones I've bought have been runners and drivers. So this is all a very new experience to me. And like I've been saying the whole time, guys, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm in IT. That's why we call this IT garage. It's what we do outside work. And if I can do this, you guys can do this. It's really not that bad. Go give it a try. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. It does so much for us. As you saw, a lot of people liked and commented on the last Edsel video, and now it has over 14,000 views. Into perspective, our next highest viewed video on the channel right now has 400 views. So 25 times ish, 20, whatever. A lot of times more viewed than the next video. So go ahead and just comment, like, let me know what I did wrong, let me know what you like. Have you done something like this? Let's get to that mark so we can get monetized, and we can start doing, I don't know, maybe I'll do an interior, or at least just find the interior dome light. So, all right, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. I don't know if any of you guys caught that, but you have to put the power wire on the battery for it to get 14 volts. Everything else I said is correct, but the battery's fine, is what I'm trying to say, because I just didn't put the thing on. And I could have refilmed this and hit it, but that's not what we're about here. So we're going to learn together as we go. And, you know, sometimes you forget a thing here or there. And today it was the power wire running off the back of the alternator. So as you can see, after running it for a minute, got up to 14.2 at idle. And we're sitting at 12.9, you know, and I'm sure it'll drop just a little bit more. But I think that is about perfect. We're going to roll with it until it decides that it's not going to work anymore. And, you know, we're still not moving the car anywhere. It's not going nowhere yet. So we're going to have to work on getting the dry shaft next. That is going to be the next big thing. And then while the dry shaft is away, what we can work on is getting the shifter linkage installed. So those are going to be the next two things in this car. Will they be the next two videos? I don't know. We'll see. But just want to get this thing cruising. The Lincoln's fun, but I think this would be just a little bit more fun. Again, thanks, guys. Appreciate the views as always. And I'm not an expert. If I can do this, you guys can do this. All right, thanks. See you later.